All right, is Illini Basketball Podcast, episode number 94, discussing the victory over Michigan State. But I wanted to start with I feel like people, or maybe it's me, I feel like people think that I don't think Trent Frazier's good, and I should apologize. Maybe I've said some things that make it seem that way. Obviously, the whole Bohannon thing last week, which was more so just for content purposes.
Have people been attacking you?
No, I just feel like that's something that people think.
Okay.
If they listen to this show, maybe get some bad reviews based on that, which is fine by me. But
yeah,
because
you did say that he was good, just good,
really good, not elite, really good. Okay. It takes a lot to be an elite point guard, and
that's true. And he's not a true point guard, so I understand.
Yeah, and he's not.
He's playing like one though.
Yeah, I feel like I think he has everything that an elite point guard has, except for probably elite playmaking skills. I feel like he's a good playmaker, but I don't think he's an elite playmaker. He's a good shooter, and obviously great defender. If you hear Brad Underwood and what he says, I mean, that's all you need to know. But I feel like I should apologize. I think people think that I think the Trent sucks. I don't think that at all. So I just want to get that out of the way. But I mean, you could put one in the win column for me, considering I nailed it with this Michigan State-Illinois game. So,
You did. You definitely did. You said that Michigan State needed to have an off night, that they would have an off night. Definitely wasn't the off night that we predicted, though. It's
always lower scoring.
Yeah, we were guessing a little bit higher. But, yeah, Illinois pulls it out 56-55, despite not scoring in the last 5.5 minutes, despite only having 4 points in the last 9.5 minutes. Luckily, they had a big enough lead, and the game wasn't, 30 seconds longer, I guess. But, hey, it's a win. Player of the game right off the bat, like we usually do. I think it was pretty clear. Luke Goody. That's who you picked, too. You do have a shout-out to Omar Payne, which I appreciate the shout-out to him, so – fair enough.
I gave Payne one for the Nebraska game. So
yeah,
shout out.
Yeah, Luke Goody. Most minutes he's played all year, 28 minutes. Hit 3 huge threes for Illinois, 9 points, 4 rebounds, which was a team high, tied with DeMonte. So rebounds were not great. Illinois had 27 compared to Michigan State's 41. So again, still won the game somehow. I said that he needed to take some of DeMonte's time up. Not that I don't like DeMonte, but I feel like DeMonte just doesn't give you anything on the offensive end. DeMonte played 27 minutes, so I guess maybe he took some minutes from him. A lot of minutes, I guess, would have came from the 2 big men, BBV and Payne being in foul trouble, went with smaller lineups. So Goody got more time with that. He was super efficient. He plays hard, like we've said, and he was good this game. Goody, you would say. Izzo, who recruited him hard out of high school, said that, quote, "I'm a big Luke Goody fan." Had some love from Brad Underwood. Brad said that Luke Goody would eventually be a 1,500-point scorer at the University of Illinois, which is pretty big considering only 13 people have ever done that. And John Rothstein, your boy, tweeted out, "Luke Goody buy stock now." I know he does that with a lot of players, but
I think the last Illinois player he did that with was Adam Miller.
So
I mean, buy the stock. Luke Goody is currently 1,456 points away from 1,500. So he's getting there. I mean,
you would assume that means that Brad is going to start him every game next year, right? I mean,
I would assume so. Yeah.
I don't know who else would start.
I mean, he's a perfect replacement for DeMonte, considering he's bigger, and his defense is probably not on ball. It's probably not quite to the level of what DeMonte is right now, but it's close. And the defensive, the length absolutely makes up for it.
Yep. And that's what, that's what these freshmen have is more length than Illinois has had in the past, like with guys like, Trent and DeMonte, more guards with length. So I guess I didn't even say it. Of course, Kofi didn't play. Curbelo didn't play. Curbelo, I thought they said health and wellness. I've heard that it was COVID. So I don't know what that means for Northwestern.
I think it's the same thing.
And Kofi, of course, is still trying to get over the concussion. So I don't know what
depends on when Curbelo
started it, right? Yeah. So I guess as long as he doesn't have symptoms, he can play after the 5 days. But it doesn't sound like he's been to practices, according to Brad. So I don't know. But so our starting lineup for this game was Frazier, Plummer, Grandison, Williams, and Bosman's Verdonk. Start with Trent, 36 minutes, 16 points. He was 2 of 10 from 3, so wasn't really filling it up behind the arc. He did have some really good drives to the hole, cut through defense. Like I said, he needed to start, doing something against the hedge. I feel like, I don't know if it was Brad's idea to play really slow, I guess, slow down basketball in the second half. I mean, when Illinois couldn't get a bucket, I think they only shot like 8 times in that nine minutes. So, I feel like that was it was kind of hanging on for dear life. But when Illinois needed something, Trent Frazier, produced by either going to the hole. He had a really nice lob pass to Payne. He was doing things, and Illinois wasn't just all threes. They had more going on in this game, which is what they really needed. He ended up getting the game ball because he is now 10th on the all-time career points list at Illinois. I saw that he's currently 3rd in threes. He needs 11 more to pass D. Brown. So, and then Izzo was really talkative afterwards. He said that he had plenty of time to just keep asking him questions. Izzo said on Trent, "I've liked Trent since he was a freshman. He's a competitive SOB. He's classy. I talked to him afterwards. Does a decent job for a guy who's not real big, but plays hard as hell." So that's Trent in a nutshell. So Dan Dockich, your boy, said that any all Big Ten team that doesn't include Trent is fraudulent. I don't think he said fraudulent, but
I think I thought Dockich was too busy talking about politics and stuff.
That's the first tweet I've seen from Dockich in forever. So
he's doing some sort of radio show. Much. But let's be honest. I don't think that if the country does not recognize Trent Frazier's defense, I'm not sure the Big Ten is going to be smart enough to recognize him as a player.
Yeah. Trent,
he's the heartbeat of a team that is 7-2 and has had injuries all season.
Yeah. And I appreciate you, owning up for you. I wouldn't say bad mouthing, but not appreciating him enough.
Maybe not showing enough respect.
But he is kind of the story nobody is talking about. I think Brad said something to that today in his press conference. The all defensive Naismith finalists came out, and Trent was nowhere to be found. When Brad took the podium today, he basically called everybody that does that ignorant, and they apparently don't watch basketball or watch matchups.
They don't know what defense is.
Yeah, they look at defense as steals and blocks, and apparently rebounds, which I don't have any idea what rebounds has to do with anything. But Underwood said it's how we play defense that he doesn't have the opportunity to get a lot of steals. It's not what he does, but he shuts down the other team's best player almost every night. So,
and we talk about that all the time too.
Yeah.
So the only Big Ten player that's on here,
Trace Jackson Davis, your boy, because he averages like 3.5 blocks a game or something.
Wow, that's the only reason why he's on there. So awesome. Let's see some of these guards. Jacob Gilliard from Richmond, who's a good player, but it's Richmond. Come on. Kevin McCullough from Texas Tech. You knew Texas Tech would have a guard on there.
Yeah.
Tyrese Hunter from Iowa State, freshman, so must be doing something if he's a freshman already getting recognized. Kennedy Chandler, another freshman from Tennessee, and Posh Alexander from St. John. So I feel like they're kind of Do you think the level of Big Ten guards this season is maybe taking away from like
Maybe, yeah.
because last year, you had Marcus Carr and
Yeah.
Io was there and other
Sure.
guards that were, a little bit more high level, which is not a fair way to do it. But I feel like the Big 12 and the SEC and the Big East getting recognized kind of says something about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that could be a big part of it. I mean, you're right. The Big Ten doesn't have many elite guards. We talked about that the basketball doesn't have a lot of elite guards. So
the team that is like quote unquote the best roster, the most suited to win is Purdue and doesn't have a point guard. Like
right.
the only time that they've ever had a game where their point guards were a huge difference maker was last night against Iowa.
Yeah.
That's it. And then you look at other teams, the Big Ten, Michigan State, Tyson Walker's just not – I don't think he's a Big Ten level like he's an elite player at Northeastern. He's not elite at Michigan State.
Sure. Yeah. It's completely different. So, I don't know. Trent's he's kind of always been in this boat where he doesn't really – I mean, nobody ever talks about him or his defense. So, I don't know. I appreciate Brad sticking up for him. Brad, he also mentioned in his presser about how Io is, dominating guys in the NBA with his defense. And he said Trent's a better defender than Io is.
The only difference is length.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is why Io, got drafted. I don't know if Trent's,
he's not going to get drafted.
Big enough.
He could be a drafted. Well, he's also too old by their standards.
That's true. That's true.
They think he should be in a nursing home with the way that they draft. But I mean, he could. I don't know if he'll ever actually get a chance to play in the NBA, but in terms of like the G League or overseas, he could be a really good player.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock. Some guys, you say that it's a knock. Right. Like if I were to say that about Zach Edey, that would be a knock because everyone thinks he's the best thing ever, or Johnny Davis, everyone thinks the best player of all time. But that's why they're not talking about Trent. They're too busy sucking off Wisconsin and Purdue.
True,
it's ridiculous. I mean, they pick like 3 or 4 teams and then they don't shut up about them no matter what. Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And I think somebody who kind of does that, but kind of cherry picks it per week is Andy Katz. I feel like one week he's talking about Wisconsin, the next week he's talking about Illinois. Kind of consistent in the fact that he changes every week, but other people are just doing it constantly. It's all about Wisconsin. It's all about Purdue. Oh my God, EJ Liddell is so good. If Kofi played every game this season and Illinois was how many games they played? 19?
Yeah.
If Illinois was like 16-3, like they would not shut up about how great Kofi is. But he hasn't played every game. And he'll be back Saturday. I guarantee. This is a guarantee right now. Tomorrow he is playing. Boy.
We're making those kind of guarantees, huh?
Don't even need him, but
yeah. So, anyways, Trent. Great dude. I hope people start recognizing him. He did get the game ball, and he said afterwards, "quote This is special. This has been a special 5 years for me. I'm glad that I call this place home." So, he appreciates the Illini Nation. We appreciate him. On to the other guards. Plummer. 36 minutes, 3 for 7 from 3, 4 of 11 from the field, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. He continues to make threes when Illinois really needs a bucket. I feel like his defense wasn't bad, so good for him. But when Plummer makes timely shots, it really helps the team. So Grandison, I felt like he had an off night, but he was probably due for one. 5 points on 1 of 7 from 3, 2 of 9 from the field, 3 rebounds and an assist. I felt like he tried going to the basket a lot more than he usually does. And his handles got away from him. I was kind of surprised when I saw he only had 1 turnover because I could have swore he had like 3 or 4. I understand them trying to get to the basket because that's what they didn't do. And I'm sure Brad was just pounding that in their head that you got to get to the basket. You got to, trust your big men, which I felt like they did this game. So, sometimes you just don't shoot the ball well. It happens. DeMonte, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I love him, but man, his offense is is bad. It's really bad right now.
If Goody keeps defending the way that he does and making shots, you got to think. I mean,
yeah, I think, yeah, but I don't think that DeMonte is a guy that you can't play, though. You know what I mean?
he's got to play, but just 20 minutes instead of 30.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, I'm good with 20 to 25. You know,
That's a bit generous. 20 to 23, I think would be.
I mean, he's averaging
fair.
30. I think he's gonna continue to play a lot. But yeah, 0 for 3. He had a couple of those baby hooks. He gets in the lane and just kind of doesn't know where to go. But 4 rebounds, and especially when nobody else and when the bigs aren't rebounding, that's where I feel like you need DeMonte. I know he only had 4, but I mean it was the team high. So he had an assist and then a turnover too. He did have to play the point for a few minutes, I believe. So I don't know. Again, Izzo, I mean, I'm going to quote Izzo because, he is one of the best coaches to ever coach. So he said of DeMonte is a big key. He's their glue guy. He's their Draymond Green, which who cares about him? He keeps everyone together and doesn't care if he gets shots or not. One of the best defenders.
I think that the Draymond Green thing's a great compliment.
I know. But wasn't Draymond Green the one shit talking Io?
I haven't heard of any of that, but I don't really care.
I thought he was the one that was tweeting or whatever. Was that somebody else?
Well, let's do some research.
Was he not the one tweeting about like what Io was wearing or something? I don't know. Anyways,
NBA fans. Yeah, he called out his retirement wardrobe. I don't think it was that serious. And then the other thing, he called out what Io was wearing at the retirement thing. But
yeah,
he also said Draymond Green thinks the Chicago Bulls got a steal in the draft with Io DeSuma.
Okay, so he's not.
So let's calm down. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
sorry,
talking about other players' wardrobe doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like he'd be that serious when saying that. But
I mean, he's just taking pot shots and not just calling it out. I mean, that's my thing. Like, why are you hiding behind this guy, but I'm not going to say his name. Anyways, Bosman's Verdonk. Good game. I think good game.
Based on expectations, yeah.
Yeah, 4 of 7, 8 points, 3 rebounds. Don't like 3 rebounds. He needs to get more rebounds and a steal. But I think this is huge for Illinois. To be able to go to Bosman's Verdonk or Payne, them getting this time right now, like Kofi's out, it's going to be huge down the road. I thought that he played really well. He had 2 really bad fouls to start the second half that helped Michigan State get into the bonus by 14 minutes or something.
Yeah, it was early.
It was super early. But yeah, him and Payne both were in foul trouble. Payne only played 13 minutes because of his foul trouble. He was 3 of 3, 7 points, 3 rebounds, and assists, which was a really nice outlet pass to Plummer. And he had 2 blocks. So it like I said before, the team had to start trusting the guys that were playing for Kofi, and I felt like they did this game. They still have a hard time, but even when Kofi plays, they have a hard time getting the ball in to the post, right? So when you don't have a guy like Kofi that big moving people around, I guess it's even harder. Again, Illinois has to figure out something with the big hedging so bad. Trent threw that nice lob to Payne when they were doing that, but they don't seem to be able to do enough of that. And if they can do that more consistent, they're going to get a lot better. Your boy Brandon Lieb got some real minutes.
You can't say he didn't do anything like you're about to say.
2 minutes. He got 2 minutes.
He set like 4 incredible screens.
I can't believe it. How did they not call a flop on that one screen? He did not screen that guy that hard.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, anyways, yeah, good job, Lieb. Yeah, he didn't.
Hey, you've complained about other guys not actually setting screens,
okay,
and he set some sweet screens.
Okay. By me saying he did nothing, that also means that he didn't do anything bad, right? So
sure, but he set some awesome screens that deserve to be talked about.
Brandon Lieb, great ball screener.
Yeah, he also showed us why he doesn't play too. So.
He's just so small, like skinny. He just can't. And then he
And
fell down once. He did have
probably doesn't.
one spill.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have the. He didn't get folded in half, which is good.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have like the shooting ability or like playmaking ability that a lot of the other skinnier bigs like Chet Holmgren does. Or if you look like in the NBA, there's other guys that are skinnier but really tall but can shoot and make plays. I think a lot of those guys that can do that though are like European players who European bigs are known to be able to, make some plays happen.
Right. What was I going to say?
I'm pretty sure Deerfield, Illinois is not in Europe either. By the way, so.
I was going to, it amazes me how many times that Illinois' guys that were jumping up after a ball to get a rebound were just clearly moved out of the way. And I feel like Illinois gets called for that all the time. And Michigan State didn't get one call against them. But, when you got Izzo talking to you, you just do whatever you want. They called Grandison on a shooting foul. Ref went over, took a 20 from Izzo, and then all of a sudden it was on the floor. So it is what it is, right? Your boy Hawkins, 12 minutes, 0 points, 2 rebounds. I literally was screaming. So I had to go to work. So I recorded this. I didn't check my phone. I watched it. I love my wife. She sat here and watched it a second time with me, just to see my reaction. And they kept putting Hawkins in to play defense. And it was driving me absolutely crazy. And then, of course, 0.2 seconds left, Coleman Hawkins fouls Malik Hill with a chance to win the game, to tie the game. Malik Hill walks up, thankfully misses the first one. This guy shoots 56% from 3 and shoots 62% from the line. That's unreal. Misses it, and then he tries to miss the second one, and he makes it. So,
I mean,
Coleman Hawkins, I was going to go through my TV.
Is there a player on this team that has transfer portal written all over him more than Coleman Hawkins?
Do you think anybody's going to love him as much as Brad Underwood, though?
There's definitely some mid-major schools that he would become like a star at.
Probably. Kind of like Tavion Williams. Tavion Williams. What was his name?
Tavion Jones.
Tavion Jones, man. I follow him on Twitter. I can't remember. Southern Utah. He was conference player of the year last year.
Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, that would work for Coleman Hawkins. It just doesn't work here. I mean, he's a guy that needs to play a lot of minutes, but when he plays a lot of minutes, he can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that he's done well this season at all is rebound.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good at turning around and talking shit to the bench when he makes one shot.
Makes 1 3 and then he misses the next 3.
My God, it's just so weird. And the Illinois they don't need him next year. Like Dane Danger is pretty much a replacement and way better, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, he's way better. He's more physical, bigger, probably doesn't foul a ton, probably a better defender, probably a better shooter. I don't know all these things, but I'm just guessing because it's not that hard to be better than Coleman Hawkins at these things. And then you have year 2 with Goody, 6'7", by the way. People forget.
6'7", 6'6" is what I thought, but
ESPN said 6'7". We're gonna.
He probably grew an inch.
Dane Danger,
mm-hmm.
Right? Already said him. Ty Rogers.
Yep.
More length. They don't need Hawkins next year. And if Kofi was smart, he'd come back for one more year.
Hopefully a healthy Melendez and.
Yeah, they don't need Hawkins. He's gonna transfer. I'm telling you, guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, it would not surprise me, but I don't think anybody's gonna love him as much as Brad Underwood loves him. So, anyways,
Underwood doesn't love him enough to play him more than 12 minutes.
That's true.
I think he's realized, okay, this kid's not what I thought he was.
We talked about it already. Kind of the Illinois meltdown of the last 10 minutes. They always go on these streaks where they don't score or whatever. And the last 2 games, it's been at the end of the game. Luckily, Illinois was up enough to withstand Michigan's 16-4 run. But if that game would have went into overtime, I don't know if Illinois would have came out with a win. So, Illinois plays good defense, right? or Michigan State shot really bad. They missed a ton of wide open threes, and I mean a ton. They were 3 for 14 for 21%. Michigan State usually shoots 40%.
How many of those 14 were open, you think? Like 10?
I would guess more than half. I mean,
DeMonte made a nice defensive play late. So that was one possession where you could say Illinois played good defense.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that they played bad defense. I'm just saying that Michigan State was not.
It's an off night. Game. Happens to everybody.
Yeah. Came into the House of Pain, couldn't handle it. I guess they said that I think Izzo said Christie apparently was getting razzed by the Illini Orange Crush.
They were yelling, "Max, you suck."
Since he's an Illinois boy and decided to go to Michigan State. So.
They were the only thing that I heard was chanting, "Max, you suck."
Really, I didn't hear any of it. But Brad's post game, he said, "Who gave us a chance? Who would have thought? We had 2 preseason All-Americans out. It doesn't matter. When you have character and guys who are together, you can do a lot of things." So Brad was really living up what he called a culture win. And he also said it doesn't matter how many guys we're down, and it doesn't matter who we have. We're going to show up and we're going to fight, except when we don't, which isn't very often.
Except when we go to Maryland.
That was a culture win. That's what Illinois basketball is. That's what this program is. Not one individual, not 2 individuals, but a group of men that fight to the very end. So Brad's trying to get us to run through walls. Izzo said, one last Izzo quote, "I think Brad is a hell of a coach. He outcoached me tonight." So where are you on this? Is Brad Underwood a good coach? I know that we have been on he's not a great coach.
There's a meter right here.
Okay.
This is bad. This is good. And then in the middle is where you intersect. So you start to go to bad, or no, you start to go to good. Wait, which one did I say?
That was bad.
This is bad. This is good. I think he's a little bit past the good part. So he's into the good territory.
Okay.
He's a good coach.
Moving the needle the right way.
He's gotten results. I mean, there's no doubt. There's a lot of games where you question a lot of things, but
I think this game he had a great game plan coming out. But like I told Heather at halftime, I said, does Izzo out-coach Brad in the second half? And I mean, if you look at the last 10 minutes, I don't know if it's being out-coached or I feel like Illinois plays not to lose. And when you play not to lose, it starts sliding the wrong way.
Sometimes you kind of have to, though.
And yeah, I understand that, but man, you gotta attack
Plummer taking the layup too early there really let Michigan State get back in it.
Yeah. And props to Michigan State too, because they came out, in the second half and they actually played like they wanted to be there.
If they played more under control when they get out and run, they would kill Illinois.
And that's a big thing. I think Michigan State averages like 15, 16 turnovers a game.
A lot. Yeah.
They had a lot of unforced turnovers in this game. One good thing about Illinois, they only had 7. Trent had 3 of those, but Trent has the ball in his hand 98% of the time, so I'm not going to be mad about that. Brett Behrens at WCIA3 Brett on Twitter. He is the Illini guy for WCIA Champaign News. He put this together on Twitter of the Illini's last, I guess, coaches for a long time, but against top 10s. Underwood, he's in his 5th year. He's 10-9. Gross in 5 years was 3-14. Weber in 9 years was 8-23. Bill Self 5-6. Kruger for 4 years was 2-10. And the great Lou Henson for 21 years, he won 21 games against top 10 teams. He was 21-55.
So how many of Bruce's 8 were like the 2 years, 04, 05, 05, 06?
All of them, I would assume.
Yeah. So
I would assume all of them.
Turns out that when D. Brown, Darren Williams, and Luther Head are gone, things kind of
Anybody could
get
have
out of
coached that
control.
team, right?
Yeah, but do you think if Bill Self was coaching 04-05, do you think they win it all? I mean, maybe.
I don't know. Bill
I
Self
think
can't
Bruce
win in
Weber.
the tournament, right?
Well, Bruce Weber's a great coach anyway. I think people probably
agree.
don't give him enough respect for what he's done because he went to Kansas State. A lot of guys after, like he had a good amount of success at Illinois.
Yeah.
And when you go to a second place, especially a place like Kansas State, it's not like it's a huge, program or huge basketball school, but he's made some runs there too.
I don't think anybody was really ever, I mean, maybe towards the end, but I don't think anybody was really calling for Bruce Weber to be fired. I think that the AD wanted to come in and say, oh, look at me, I can get this guy from Ohio that, went to the tournament with Ohio and bring him here to Illinois, and everybody's going to love him. He's going to turn the program around, and he drove it straight into the ground. So,
I mean, Bruce Weber was over 500 every single year except for 07-08.
Yeah, I wasn't happy when Bruce Weber was fired because that was my thing was who's Illinois going to get, and then they get John Gross, and no offense to John Gross, he's just not a Big Ten coach. He's where he should be, back in Ohio, coaching that Akron team, doing what he should be doing.
Six tournament appearances in 9 years for Weber, and then you look at what he did. He has 5 tournament appearances at Kansas State in the Elite Eight. So I mean, he's done a good job, and he had success at Southern Illinois too. Yeah,
and that's it. He's a good coach. He's not great at recruiting, I don't think.
And recruiting is way more important now than
that's why I think Brad has that demeanor that helps with recruiting, and I just don't think Bruce has it.
So I would say the first 3 years of Weber were where he got all those top 10 wins because they went 26-7 his first year because he already had a good roster, obviously. So let me see if I can track some of these down while you.
Yeah. The other thing that I was just going to say, talking about Brad and if he's a good coach, and I make fun of his out of bounds plays all the time. But JG Trends at JG Trends, shout out to whoever that guy is. Apparently he started posting these things. But in special situations, which is points per game after timeouts or out of bounds situations. So like if you call timeout, set up a play, I guess, is what they're trying to say. Or when you take the ball out, Illinois leads the nation with 22.6 points. Next is Duke at 21.4, and then Purdue and Gonzaga are tied at 20.6. So according to that, Brad's a good coach.
I guess.
I mean, that's kind of how I felt when a guy posted it and said this proves that Brad's a good coach. But hey, I guess you can't call him a bad coach because he's turned a program around, right? I mean, leading the Big Ten again.
I mean, the fact that it's this hard to find top 10 wins and to prove this stat right is ridiculous.
What are you looking for?
I've gone through every season of Bruce Weber, and I only see 4.
Oh.
Wait, there's 5. There's 6. He got 2 in his last season. They beat Ohio State and Michigan State. They beat Michigan State 42-41 in 2012. Jesus. Anyway, who cares at this point? Special situations. What a stupid way to say that.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's apparently a stat out there, but Illinois did what they had to do. They won this game at home against a top 10 team. That's what, they hadn't done all year. It wasn't pretty, but it's a win. And they played hard without
and I was right.
Kofi and Curbelo. So I guess I better put my prediction in for the next game, huh?
Saying 2 preseason All-Americans is really cherry picking that stat considering the way Curbelo's played this year, but whatever.
I agree.
I'm a fan of
he says it every time though. Every time he talks about Curbelo. So.
And Underwood's clearly good. His track record would tell you that he's very good with players. I mean, what players have been like disgruntled or left before they would usually like you don't see that very often with this program right now. And you had guys that stayed the whole time. Frazier is an example of that. You could argue that Frazier is just as important in the Underwood era as Io is.
Keeping him, yeah, absolutely.
Especially in the college
a lot of people would
side.
say DeMonte too, but
yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I mean, look at the way he played last year. Obviously, he's not the same player this year, but there's still time, right?
He's old.
Fair to say, 100%. So just saw Joe Lenardi tweet out Illinois is currently a 5 seed, according to him.
Yeah, I think they've been there
18th overall. They're
after
actually Marquette 17th. So
after the 2 losses last week, I think they moved from a 4 to a 5. So,
and you look at their losses this season. Arizona's a good loss. Could have won that game. Probably should have won that game. But, of course, Arizona literally goes into UCLA, can't make a shot. They go to Illinois, and they make everything.
There was only one bad loss, right?
Cincinnati, yeah.
And it was really bad.
Maryland was pretty bad. The fact they didn't show up against Maryland.
That's true.
That, not great. But Marquette's making them look good, so I'm all down for that.
But if
Marquette's number 17 on Lenardi's season.
And I know it's coaches talking or whatever, but if Trent wasn't there for the 3 practices leading up to Maryland, and then you have Kofi out, I just don't, if you know all that, you don't think Maryland's as bad of a loss on the road. But
yeah, that's fair. I mean, they just didn't show up in that game at all.
Right.
So that's just not a good look, but what can you do?
Yeah.
All right. Illinois, Northwestern tomorrow. If Illinois can get this win, you got to think they move right back to near where they were before, 17th in the poll. Mm-hmm. If they win this game, it's a road game. Obviously, last year when they went to Northwestern, they had probably the worst half of basketball they played in the regular season last year. And then they outscored them by like 40, and it was 53-13 in the second half or something.
Yeah, I don't know. You looked it up last time. Yeah, it was.
I'm pretty sure I just nailed it with the memory there. But Chris Collins, typical choke job from him last year. Typical choke job this season. Rothstein talking about, Northwestern's going to make the tournament. If they don't make the tournament, I'll do this or whatever. And they're 9-9 and 2-7 in the Big Ten. So anyone who puts that much faith into Chris Collins at this point with this program is just
a fraud.
Is not doing their job.
Oh.
Rothstein's not a fraud. He does too much for me to call him a fraud. Does he look stupid in this instance? Yes.
I know.
Here's Steve's thoughts. After they win the conference again, they will be a 1 seed again. Well, you put again twice, but they're not going to win the conference, I don't think. I mean, I think they'll be close. And I don't think they would have to win. They're not going to be like a 6-loss 1 seed. No way.
So do you think that whoever wins the Big Ten will be a 1 seed? Unless it's Illinois?
I think it depends on who. Like Michigan State, they're not going to win every game the rest of the season, and they lost to Northwestern. Yeah. And they lost. You could use this loss against Michigan State in some way. You scored 55 points against Illinois without Illinois' best player, and Illinois is not known to be a great defensive team, and you scored 55 points.
Right.
Something to think about. But I think if Wisconsin, they just own the narrative. Everybody loves them. Oh, God, Wisconsin might win it all. Oh, man. Yeah. Wait till they run into like an actual elite team like Auburn or Gonzaga or Kentucky or Duke or Kansas, and they will get murdered. Anyway.
Or Illinois.
If Kofi's playing, yeah, sure. We'll see. I mean, no doubt. Northwestern's been terrible in the Big Ten. This game's tomorrow, 3:30, Big Ten Network. They've lost 7 of their last 8 games in the Big Ten. Their one win was, of course, over Michigan State somehow in a game where the refs tried to hand it to Michigan State. Michigan State couldn't get it done. Not in the same way that the refs tried to hand it to them against Illinois, which I don't think they did, but the calls early in the second half really hurt Illinois.
Yeah.
But like we said when we were texting, I mean, the refs weren't that bad.
No, I thought the refs were fine.
And I hope we can get Robbie Hummel on more games because compared to the other announcers, I don't think it's close. I mean, there's a few guys that I would want to hear in the Big Ten Ten play with the announcers. Lynn Elmore I'm fine with, even though he's said some dumb things like BBV's just as big as Kofi or whatever he said in that Maryland game. But, Robbie Hummel's great.
think he meant body size.
Dockett stinks, so he's gone. Get him out. He's gone anyway. Jay Billis, if it's not a Duke game, is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some dreadful. Bardo sucks. But the other Big Ten win for Northwestern was over Maryland. They beat them by 6. Don't know what to do with that. Their non-conference losses are good, though. They lost to Providence by 5. Providence is apparently good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they went into Xavier and beat them, and their Providence is ranked 17th right now, so they'll probably move up. And then Wake Forest, team that you shouted out in our other podcast, is good too. They just beat the living F out of North Carolina. Destroyed them. They scored like 98 points or whatever. So Northwestern lost to Wake Forest by 4 in overtime. So
I mean, Northwestern's really been in every game, besides the 20-point loss to Purdue. You look at them and, Michigan State, when Michigan State beat them, they lost by 6. Purdue, they lost or Penn State, they lost by 4. Ohio State, they lost by 8. Maryland lost by 7. Wisconsin lost by 6. Michigan, they just lost by 2 to Michigan. So they've been in games. They just haven't been able to close.
And then you look at their non-conference wins, pretty weak for the most part. I mean, they beat Eastern Illinois, High Point, New Orleans, Fairleigh Dickinson, Georgia, NJIT. All of those teams are outside of the top 200 on KenPom. Georgia just beat Alabama, but that doesn't make any sense. And then they beat Illinois Springfield, which, I mean, they don't have a team there. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That game was not real. It was fake. It was a fake game. But just to give you a reference point on Georgia, don't be confused or don't think that Georgia's any good because they beat Alabama. Georgia's 296 defensively. They're terrible. But Northwestern did beat them. But as I put here, I don't think Northwestern's as bad as their record.
Right.
They have like the same team as last year, except they lost Miller Kopp, which how big of a loss is that anyway? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
All these guys have played together. Boo Booey, who is going to get locked down by Trent, but that's just bad luck for him. Pete Nance will be a bit of a problem. I feel like I'm less worried about Pete Nance if Kofi doesn't play. If Kofi plays, I'm a little bit more worried about Pete Nance.
Really?
Because he can get outside and shoot.
Do you think Kofi would even guard? What about Kofi would be on Ryan Young?
I mean, does Ryan Young even start?
Maybe not. I don't know.
That dude's also made of the first thing I think about with him is drink some milk or something. Like, the dude has no muscle tone at all. He's a college basketball player. Come on.
Yeah. I don't know. I am scared of the game, but I think that Illinois has good enough defense to take care of these guys. And I think that, I mean, could you put Grandison on Nance or?
I don't think they would.
No. Okay.
Robbie Barron's also, 6'9". So that could be a bit of a problem. But size-wise, in terms of the lineup, Illinois matches up pretty well with guards. I think Barry, Greer, and Bowie are perfect fits for Frazier, Plummer, and DeMonte to guard.
Yeah.
So.
And then Audige would be Grandison.
Yeah, I mean,
he's kind of lanky.
Yeah.
Isn't he? He's only 6'4". I want to guess
6'4", yeah. And he has not had a good season.
No, he hasn't. Which is surprising to me because I think he's a good ball player. He just
had 23 against Wisconsin and 20 against Ohio State. Other than that, he hasn't done anything. So, like Steve says here, Northwestern is an older team, veteran team. They've all played together a lot, so they will be in the game. So that's normal for that to be the case. And I wonder, atmosphere-wise, Illinois hasn't played a legitimate road game at Northwestern with this group.
Yeah, Northwestern really brings the –
It's the Big Ten, you never know.
You don't think there's going to be more Illinois fans in the stands than Northwestern fans?
I'm sure there will be, but I was just saying, it's a little different.
Steve
atmosphere.
says Northwestern is an older team, so they will be in games. Be a tough game, but we will win. I agree.
February 27th, 2020 was the last time Illinois played a legitimate road game at Welsh Ryan Arena. And I don't remember that game at all, but Illinois won by 8, and Io had 21. Allen. Oh, I remember that. Alan Griffin had 24. Yeah, I remember that game.
Do you want to bet that there's more orange in the stands than purple?
There should be. Why wouldn't there be? How far is Evanston from Champaign? A couple hours?
Sure. Illinois got to take back Chicago's team, right?
I mean, I can't believe Rothstein thought they were going to not that he thought they would make the tournament, but how confident he was that they would make the tournament is quite something, considering they've literally done nothing that resembles making the tournament under Chris Collins, except for the 1 year that they did make it. So weird move by Rothstein, but I guess he was probably shuffling a few Big Ten things. What do I say here? What do I say there? Do I say Johnny Davis is going to win National Player of the Year? And if he doesn't, I will, eat 400 pounds of cheese or something like that. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
He decided with the Northwestern one, and that's what he did. But if you look at Ken Pom, Northwestern, they are very good at taking care of the basketball. 4th in the country in turnover percentage on offense. So they don't give the ball up very much, which is a veteran team, and that's what they do. They're 42nd overall offensive efficiency, Illinois 17th. So a big advantage for the Illini. There defensively, it's not even close. Illinois 29th and Northwestern 95th. Northwestern really struggles to guard the three-point line, the 312th in opponent's three-point percentage.
Well, hopefully Illinois shooting.
Plumber. It's plumber time, apparently. So something to think about there. But this is a projected 3-point victory for Illinois.
Wow.
Probably because Northwestern is 62nd on KenPom, which is not that bad of a number.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, Illinois has been known to lose a couple games, then win a bunch of games. When they lost back-to-back Marquette, Cincinnati, they won 5 in a row. When they lost to Arizona, they won 6 in a row after that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe start a bit of a winning streak. Be a good time to do it. Beat Northwestern, beat Wisconsin, beat Indiana, beat Purdue. Whole deal. 5-game win streak. Probably be number 1 in the country after that. Make it happen.
You talked me into it. That Purdue game did get moved from the 10th to the 8th.
Does that have to do with Michigan?
Yeah, because I think they're going to play Michigan they're going to play Michigan like the 11th or something now. So let me see.
They're going to play Michigan on the 10th.
That's what I said.
You said 11th, but okay. How about that week for Purdue? Purdue's going to have 4 games in 8 days.
Yeah.
They got Michigan, Illinois, Michigan, Maryland, all from February 5th to February 13th. It'll be a tough stretch. Good luck.
Yeah. Hey, the best part about this game on tomorrow, Saturday, It's not 11 o'clock.
3:30.
That's right.
Sleep till 3 o'clock, get up, watch the game.
Yeah. Get that watch party going.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we can't do a watch
What happened?
Tomorrow.
You said explanation coming on the dock.
It's similar to what happened to you earlier in the season.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I was thinking
health and medical protocol.
Health and safety protocol situation, no doubt. But I was thinking, I mean, Wednesday, I could probably do Wednesday if we wanted to.
Okay.
I'll just play like 2 games and leave. So
they play at 8 on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
So we could probably figure that out. They also play next Saturday against Indiana at 11. So 11 a.m. game there. But I think a perfect watch party, and I'll just guarantee a watch party right here, right now. I will guarantee a watch party. And now, will this come true?
We can't ever
Probably
guarantee
not.
things.
We're going to guarantee it, though, because this is how confident I am. Thursday, nope, that's not a good guarantee.
Can't do Thursdays.
That's not a guarantee that's worth it. Okay, guarantee. Sunday, February 27th, 1 o'clock against Michigan.
We'll see you in a month.
PBS. Be out there.
We'll see you in a month.
But we'll probably do one Wednesday if we can. So
Okay,
that'll be something
yeah.
to figure out. But all right, predictions for this game.
Oh, predictions. Yeah, we didn't do that yet. I think Illinois is going to come out. They're going to shoot. I think Kofi's going to be back, and I think Illinois is going to not have to sweat too bad. I got Illinois winning 78-65.
Yeah, like I feel like the fact that I said Northwestern is not as bad as their numbers or their record, I'm just going to stick with that. I think Illinois wins 71-67, closer game.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction that we're going to see a 20-point performance if Kofi doesn't play or if he plays, either way. Somebody's going to score 20 points. Who's that going to be? It's going to be Trent Frazier because he knows that he's going.
I thought you just said it was going to be Plummer.
Plummer's going to score. Plummer's going to have 15. So
Okay.
that's going to be
5
four
threes.
threes and one for one from the line after an and one, which he
Mm.
did miss a free throw.
He did.
the
He's
game
now
is-
missed 3 on the year.
Jesus, we got to calm down with that.
Yeah.
But Frazier's last game in Evanston, in-state rival. Now, how similar is a comparison to Michigan fans saying that it's not a rivalry with Illinois as Illinois fans saying it's not a rivalry with Northwestern?
I mean,
They're kind of similar because Illinois has made the tournament one time in the last 8 years.
Yeah, I think this is a. What do you mean? I think this is a. It's
If it's in-state, does it have to be a rivalry? Because Northwestern stinks every year.
Absolutely. You don't want to be. You don't want to be the second best team in Illinois, like what happened last year against Loyola.
Yeah, who are the top 5 teams in the state right now? Illinois, Loyola, Chicago, DePaul,
Edwardsville,
Northwestern, Southern Illinois.
Illinois State.
I mean, didn't Illinois State just lose to Evansville?
Western? Isn't Western okay?
No, there's no way. That's not possible. But
I
all
thought
right.
they started off good for some reason.
Somebody in the Big Ten played them, I think. I think Iowa played them.
It's a record these days.
No, they did. Oh, yeah. Iowa beat Western Illinois by 21. Western Illinois is 12-8.
12-8.
2 losses in a row, though, to South Dakota and South Dakota State.
Mm. So
they swept North Dakota and North Dakota State, but then got swept by South Dakota and South Dakota State. How you doing? Keep moving. So the Western Illinois lost to DePaul.
Yeah, they beat Nebraska.
All right. They got a quality club. They stuck around with Iowa, I guess. I mean, they got this.
Yeah,
dude.
only got beat by 21 to Iowa. So,
they got a nice ball club. A lot of size too. They're 31st in the country in tempo.
Hey,
and number 2 in average possession length against. So they're good at keeping their opponent averages like 15 seconds per possession or something like that. I don't understand the stat. Whatever. Illinois is going to win tomorrow. Hopefully do a watch party on Wednesday. And hopefully it's not some idiot calling the game tomorrow on the Big Ten Network. Illinois is going to beat